Chrisley Knows best star Todd Chrisley shuts down critics amid guilty verdict. How did he fend off social media trolls? Keep reading, and we'll explain. Todd and Julie Chrisley are currently under home confinement after a jury found them guilty of tax evasion and bank fraud. After 3 years in limbo, the couple faced the charges during a 3-week trial that ended on Tuesday, June 7. The jury came back with a verdict of guilty on all 12 counts. The Chrisley Knows best stars await sentencing in October. In the meantime, they are under house arrest with some very strict conditions. They can only leave their home for work, religious services, or medical treatment. Furthermore, they can leave for meetings with their attorney or court appearances. The couple is under strict financial requirements. Us Weekly reports that Todd and Julie must notify their probation officer of any purchases over $1,000. Have members of the Chrisley family spoken out about the verdict? Lindsay Chrisley was the first to address the verdict. She shared on her Instagram that she was saddened about the outcome and asked for prayers. Her younger sister Savannah broke her silence by sharing a quote. Click here to read Savannah's cryptic statement. While Todd Chrisley has remained silent about the verdict, his actions spoke louder than words. Following the verdict, he seemingly took to his Instagram settings and limited comments on his older posts. He did leave Savannah's comment on a post about leaning on God. The day after the criminal case went to the jury for deliberation, Todd Chrisley shared an uplifting post about God. As Chrisley Knows best viewers know, the Chrisley family is very religious, and it seems they relied heavily on their faith to get through the trial. God doesn't give us what we can handle. God helps us handle what we are given, the meme read. His daughter Savannah took to the comments to show her support. We've got this. God has got us. The reality star wrote. Of course, trolls have circled back to the post now that the verdict is in. This didn't age well, one new comment read. Another replied, where was God today? Maybe you don't like liars and cheaters. Some Chrisley fans might be surprised that Todd Chrisley limited the comment section. He usually confronts trolls head-on. As Todd and Julie await their sentencing, new episodes of Chrisley Knows best return to USA Network on Thursday, June 23rd. Jennifer Havener grew up in a small town in upstate New York. She earned her BA in Writing and Literature from Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado. She always knew watching reality TV shows and soap operas, particularly Days of Our Lives, would come in handy someday. When she's not writing, she's playing with her dogs, Lola, and Ruger. Todd Chrisley shuts down critics amid guilty verdict. A defiant response in a world where public figures constantly navigate the intense scrutiny of the media. Few have faced the kind of backlash that Todd Chrisley, reality TV star and patriarch of the hit show Chrisley Knows Best, has experienced in recent years. Following his guilty verdict on federal charges of tax evasion, wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud banks, Chrisley's once picture-perfect image was shattered. However, like any seasoned celebrity, he refused to let the verdict define him or allow the critics to have the final say. Instead, he chose to confront the storm head-on, shutting down critics with unapologetic confidence and a clear message to the world. The story is far from over. The rise of the Chrisleys, a family empire built on charm and charisma. Todd Chrisley's journey to fame is one of many twists and turns. Before becoming a household name, Todd was a savvy entrepreneur, known for his real estate investments and business acumen. But it was his larger-than-life persona and unapologetic Southern charm that really captivated audiences. With his over-the-top personality, designer suits, and extravagant lifestyle, Todd became the patriarch of the Chrisley family empire, a family dynamic that the world came to adore. The reality show Chrisley Knows Best, which first aired in 2014, put the family's day-to-day lives front and center, focusing on Todd's relationship with his wife, Julie, their 5 children, and their adventures in luxury living. From the beginning, Todd Chrisley was an expert at crafting an image. His sharp wit and larger-than-life character drew viewers in, making the Chrisleys a TV phenomenon. Audiences were mesmerized by Todd's quick comebacks and his unfiltered commentary, which contrasted his perfectly manicured lifestyle. People laughed, they cringed, and they ultimately fell in love with the man behind the screens, never questioning how much of his persona was reality and how much was just for show. However, as the show's popularity grew, so did the scrutiny on Todd and his family. Critics began to raise eyebrows over the family's wealth and lavish lifestyle, questioning the authenticity of the persona they had unfounded. The legal storm, fraud, taxes, and the fall from grace. In 2019, Todd and his wife, Julie Chrisley, were hit with federal charges, accused of using fraudulent means to obtain millions of dollars in loans from banks and evading taxes over a period of several years. The couple allegedly falsified documents, including fake tax returns, and used false information to secure loans. The charges were severe, and Todd's previously flawless public image began to crack under the weight of these accusations. It was a story that seemed ripped from the headlines of Hollywood scandal, and the world watched as the once glamorous family faced serious consequences. Throughout the legal proceedings, Todd and his wife vehemently denied the charges, maintaining their innocence. Todd took to social media, where his outspoken nature often shined, to repeatedly assert that he had done nothing wrong. His followers, a loyal army of fans who had watched the Chrisleys on TV for years, rallied around him, with many offering their unwavering support. However, as the trial went on, cracks in the Chrisley family's defense began to emerge. In June 2022, after weeks of testimony and evidence, a jury found Todd and Julie Chrisley guilty of multiple charges, including tax evasion, wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud financial institutions. The verdict sent shockwaves through the Chrisley fanbase and Hollywood at large. In an instant, the narrative of the charming, witty businessman who had built an empire on his good looks and Southern charm took a dramatic turn. Todd's defiant response. Shutting down critics despite the guilty verdict, Todd Chrisley refused to back down. In a bold move that only solidified his trademark defiance, he took to social media to address the critics who had emerged from the shadows, eager to gloat over his downfall. In a fiery and unapologetic post, Todd declared that the fight was far from over, emphasizing that he believed the trial had been unfair and that he had been targeted by the system. To all the people who think they know my story better than I do, let me make this clear, he wrote. This is not the end. This is only the beginning of a much bigger journey. You might think you've won, but you don't know the full story. I will not be silenced. Todd's defiance didn't stop there. In interviews and public appearances, he continued to vehemently maintain his innocence, even after the conviction. I am the one who built this empire with my own two hands, he said, refusing to allow the legal troubles to tarnish his legacy. I have been through so much, and I will continue to fight, not just for my family, but for my name, for everything I've worked for. But it wasn't just the critics on social media that Todd had to contend with. The legal system itself had now become an enemy in his eyes, and Todd made it clear that he had no intention of letting the courts decide his fate. He publicly vowed to appeal the verdict, signaling that he was prepared for a long legal battle ahead. His supporters, though shaken by the verdict, rallied around him even more fervently. They saw Todd's defiance as a sign of strength, not arrogance. To many, his refusal to back down was a testament to his character, and it only deepened their loyalty to him. This is just the beginning. One fan commented on his social media post, Todd will come out of this stronger than ever. Don't let the hatters win. The legacy of Todd Chrisley, a tale of redemption or ruin. At the heart of Todd Chrisley's defiance lies something deeper than just a fight against legal trouble or a challenge to his critics. It's a fight for redemption. In many ways, Todd's narrative mirrors that of a classic American story, the tale of an underdog who, against all odds, rises to greatness, only to face an equally dramatic fall. But unlike many public figures who fade away after a scandal, Todd has continuously reinvented himself, always fighting back when the odds seem insurmountable. The question remains, will Todd Chrisley be able to restore his reputation and emerge victorious from this legal battle? Or will the scandal mark the end of his public career? The answer lies in his ability to leverage his defiant spirit and the loyalty of his supporters, something he has done so well throughout his career. In many ways, Todd's ongoing defiance is part of the very persona that made him famous. Whether it's through his reality TV antics, his public social media rants, or his larger-than-life personality, Todd has always known how to stay relevant. He is a master of the public narrative, and by refusing to remain silent, he continues to be the center of attention. In the end, it may be his resilience, not just his guilt or innocence, that ultimately shapes the outcome of this saga. As Todd Chrisley shuts down his critics, he remains determined to write his own story. It's a story of defiance, redemption, and perhaps even a second act. Whether that